So it enables us as a university to make a decision instead of it already being made for us. Academically, that's typically a very good thing. On top of that, within the admissions process, there are certain things that you get scores for. For example, you get scores for volunteering. You get a certain number of points. You get a certain number of points, I think still based on whether or not you're family members of your students. And you also get points for your essay, for involvement, for National Merit Commended, etc., SEC score, your essays. So all of that gets put into a certain formula. It adds up, and you score based on that. So they're considering more than just one thing or another, and they already have the program in place to do it. So it's set up where we can do it right. And we can pick our people based on a better rubric, if you will, for people that have succeeded in college. With that, as much as I hate yielding the floor, I'm going to yield to Brandon Arthur.
So, addressing the issue brought up by Senator Buckley, no, I wanted to recognize you. I believe that for a university to function in a truly academic environment, a diverse skill set is absolutely necessary. People with other skills that are outside of academics. If you get accepted to Texas A&M, you are a bright individual. You are very smart. You might not have been in the top 10%, but that is not a slight at your ability to function here at the university. We saw from the statistics that if you are in the 6 to 20 percentile, you make roughly the same GPA once you get to the university. I think it's important, though, to have people who have a diverse, take a holistic view at their skills. We can bring in unique individuals to help us learn from each other.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Buckley's out of line.
I didn't say anything out loud.
With that, I would like to yield to Senator Fields.
And I will keep it pretty short. I know that's hard for you to believe. Guys, I want you to look at this, okay? Top 10% Texas high school. This is at A&M, right? Okay. Female, male, pretty good. White, pretty good. Uh-oh. What's after white? Now, a lot of us in here are white, but I think we all want the same thing, even though we're white, right? We want for people to have the same chance to attend this university. Now, I'm from Houston. And I'll make no bones, I'm from a suburban area in Houston, so I don't see all the tough stuff that goes on. But I've been to the rough areas of Houston. I've been to the downtown areas of Houston, outside the Loop, 3rd Ward, 4th Ward. I've been through there. A lot of churches. This is interesting. A lot of churches send missions to those areas. These are neighborhoods in a state in America, and churches have to send missions there. We have people in this country who live in destitution. And African Americans are disproportionately affected by that. So if you go to a poor school in a poor neighborhood in a little bitty area of a tucked away corner of Houston, and you're in a black family, and you've got to struggle just to survive, perhaps, and maybe you're in the 20th, 30th percentile, but that's better than your parents did, or by statistics, if we're being honest, probably a single-parent home, then you need to have the same opportunity as the white guy in the suburbs who's in the 9th percentile or the 10th percentile, that he gets the chance to go to a school. My class that I graduated in had 100 people who fell under the top 10% law. Almost all of them went to A&M and UT, but not all of them were nearly as qualified as some of the individuals who don't get to go to college just because they're not in a big enough school, or just because their situations outside of school make it such that they can't go. The Egg Assurance Program I disagree with, but the purpose is to make it easier for lower socioeconomic background children to come to this university, and that's a goal we should all agree with, even if we disagree with the implementation of the program. This bill's in the same spirit, and it's a good step towards that, Mr. Speaker, I move the previous question because we need to vote and pass this bill
Point of
through.
information.
Set your point.
I mean, with this, so Senator Rivera, College of Education, how would, oh, this is directed at the bill writers. How would this bill then have an impact on those who are provisionally accepted?
You mean how would?
If
How
we
would
got-
this bill impact those who have been provisionally accepted into the fall of 2009 entering class?
Correct. Or any
Chair
individuals
Burrows.
there for the future.
In the right now or in the future? Are you speaking?
She's speaking fall 2009.
No law would go into effect that would harm the status quo right now. We can't go back and undo what the universities have already done because people have applied on these pretenses. It would happen for the next school year in which I think
So
fall
then how would-
2010.
So then how would it affect them?
How would-
In the future, if we got rid completely of the top 10 percentile, would more people be accepted provisionally and having to go through these gateway programs that we have here, or you know, is this having to do with
This would not affect provisional. You mean the gateway and the blending type of programs? This would have no effect on that. This is something how we would fit the total number of people. How we generally have an idea, correct me if I'm wrong, with admissions. We generally have a target number of people we want to allow, and then after that we send people to provisional programs. This would not change the target amount we want to accept in the university. This would just change how and what standards we accept that target amount.
Do you withdraw your previous question? Previous question has been withdrawn. Chair will return to debate with 1 minute and approximately 15 seconds remaining. Senator Rodriguez.
Mr. Speaker, I move to extend debate by a period of 5 minutes.
Motion to extend by 5 minutes on the floor, seconded by Senator Paul. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Nay. Being chair, the ayes have it. The debate is extended by 5 minutes with 6 minutes remaining. Senator Rodriguez, you have the floor.
Senator Rodriguez, off campus. I'll make this pretty short and sweet. I'm definitely against this bill just because it's definitely way too vague. This whole 50% of the 10%, there's just, everything's just going to get all wishy-washy and there's nothing like definite about it at all. And I understand that like the top 10% doesn't cover everything and it's not perfect and it needs to be adjusted somehow, but I think that the survey is definitely not, it's way too vague. And another thing is this is all about like ethnicities and stuff. It doesn't talk about demographics at all either, so like I feel like the survey just is not anywhere like showing like what A&M really thinks, especially if it's like 100, 200 people. I just think it's a little ridiculous for us to push forward a bill that we're kind of vague on like everything. So, and especially because I'm just coming from a small town, I definitely think that's why I mean what I mean by the demographics. Like coming from a small town, we don't have those kind of opportunities with all these extracurriculars. Like to be in top 10%, you have to be top 10 people. And so, I mean, it's really, I just think that we don't have those kind of opportunities that some of the bigger schools have. And so by not somehow including smaller towns is kind of, yeah, I just think this whole bill is not much fun.
Point of information,
State your point.
wasn't the time limited to 20 minutes, or what happened?
It was by suspending the rules, which would basically, for this bill, redefine the rules of debate to 20 minutes. Now, motions to extend are still in order at any point in time. So this has theoretically become a 24-minute debate cycle. With 3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining, Chair recognizes Senator Paul.
Thank you for your recognition, Mr. Speaker. Aiden Paul, off campus. Senators, I want to remind you that it is our job to make the decisions for the student body. As I challenged you earlier, we were put in these seats by constituents. We don't have to it's our job to research. But my argument to that is we don't have to take a poll on every single question that becomes the body. We were entrusted with this position, so therefore we are within our rights to formulate an opinion on this bill. Now, to further that, why would we not prepare for the future? We obviously see a growing trend in our numbers, so therefore we need to pass some kind of legislation to prepare for the future. To answer Senator Pierce's arguments earlier, if the legislative relations, once we pass the bill, they're bound to it. However, we want to have it on file just in case we're asked. They don't have